morning, everyone. I'm on my way to work and back from vacation. I was back yesterday, actually. I didn't get a chance to post a video yesterday, but today I thought I would come on and say hello. The girls and I both went back to our, girls went back to school, I went back to work. So we're all getting used to our schedules again, trying to. And yesterday was the first day that I started my part-time job. So, I went 2 days over vacation just to do some real early stages of training, which wasn't anything. Last night was hands-on. I was at the fryer, and I'm pretty sure I said where I'm working. I'm working at a Sheetz store. Sheetz is primarily a gas station, and that gas station also has, food and convenience items, things like that. And so I was at the fry station, which, makes everything that's deep fried. And probably within a half hour, I remembered how much I didn't care for working at the French fryer. Because I used to work at one, and during a short period of time I worked at McDonald's many years ago. And the fryer is, I don't know if it's because I'm vertically challenged or what the problem, I have trouble lifting up the fry baskets because they're heavy for me, and I was stronger back then. It was worse now. My wrists are kind of semi-weak these days, along with my ankles. So lifting up these heavy fry baskets that are full of French fries and tater tots and whatever else, mozzarella sticks, all the things that you deep fry. I struggled with it, but I powered through and did the best I could. But it was a bit of a nightmare. Although the folks that I worked with, they said, "Great job tonight," and I was just like, okay. But no, I thanked them, and I'm thinking, oh boy. So hopefully I won't be put on that station all the time. It sounds like, once you go through all the training, which there's a lot of it, once you go through it all, then they kind of determine where your best fit is, and that's the station you primarily work on. So, if it's making sandwiches, if it's the French fryer, if it's making the SBC drinks, which is the Sheetz Brothers coffee, then you do that, or point of sale, which is the register, or out on the sales floor, which is stocking shelves and doing a bit of cleaning, things like that. So wherever I excel is where I will primarily work for the most part. I would imagine, though, anybody that's new probably gets danced around until they get comfortable with everything. So it's going to be probably months and months for me, because I don't work there very often. I'm only working like 3 nights a week, so it'll be a while. But man, it got a little busy last night too. There were times where I had a lot of things that I had to drop in the fryers, and the screens don't come easy for me to read. So I don't know, I felt like I stood there and stared at them for way longer than I should have been. But yeah, I'm just very out of practice. I haven't been in the restaurant world in many years, and you get out of touch with things like that. So And it's not your typical restaurant. It's not like it's easy going. It's fast paced, so you gotta kind of put some pep in your step a little bit. But oh boy. But I go back tonight, and then I work again Wednesday night, so I will get some more practice for sure and everything. But we had a nice time at the fair. It was a little rainy there, but didn't rain the whole time. There was one day, it was an all-day washout, and that was about it. And you know, I'll take it, because for the last several years we've had really beautiful weather, and we were kind of due for some bad weather, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I've gone to the fair before, and it has been just rain almost the whole time, except for like one day or something. So it can get really bad depending on the weather. So being off work for a week, I feel like I'm really far behind. I made sort of a small dent in the amount of things I need to do this week to get caught back up and to finish some projects up and things I needed to do. I tried desperately to get them done before my vacation, but you know how that goes. Sometimes you just can't fit it all in, you know. So that's okay. The new baby did come. I didn't do a box opening or anything, and I don't know how I want to introduce him to you all, if I want to introduce him to you all. He is a really, he's painted differently than what I normally collect. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that to make it sound like, oh, he's not good enough, so I'm not going to show him. He's painted in a way that the camera doesn't capture the beauty behind his painting. And I talked this over with a friend of mine. I sent her the best pictures I could take of him. And, you know, her and I were back and forth talking about this baby, and she made me feel a lot better about the, because at first I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I even wanted to keep him because he was so different. Because sometimes when you get something different, you know, it's sort of a shock to the system. In a lot of ways I like different, but in some ways I'm maybe complacent. I'm into the same old. I don't know. I do like to experience different art forms, and this definitely is a little bit different art form. I really appreciate the way it looks, though. It's really an interesting take on what a, you know, fresh newborn really looks like. So I'm really starting to fall for him very much. Now, I haven't had any time lately to be with any of my babies. They are, you know, they're with a nanny. And, invisible nanny. But yeah, I haven't been in the nursery much, and when I do, I go in and just sort of peek in, and that's it. There's not much else that happens in there. Ah, there's a tractor up here. I wonder why we were going slow. Tractors driving along the road. I live in a farm-rich area, so this is normal. This and Amish. We have a lot of Amish too. So you run into buggies on the road and tractors. All kinds of various farm equipment too. aside from tractors. Sometimes there's like big machines driving down the road to get to one field to another kind of thing. So anyway, I want to try and display him in the best way that I can so that people don't think that he looks the way he does or the way he comes across on camera. Because the cameras always, they dull down a lot of details, I noticed. And unless maybe you have like a really, really good camera and you got really, really good lighting, I don't know. But usually I cannot see much detail when I'm videoing. When I watch other videos, people try to do like detail videos and stuff like that. And half the time I can't see hardly any details. I might see a little bit, but it's nothing probably what they're seeing. So that's kind of how it is with my babies. When I try to show them, you guys only see a tiny fraction of what is actually there in the artwork. So, but on the other hand, there are certain things that get embellished, like majorly overstated with a camera, and some pigments really sorry, there was a sign back there that says it's a boy. That was cute. Somebody had a baby boy. So did I. That's what I'm talking about. So anyway, yeah, there's certain colors that really are overly glorified in a camera. So it's making me hesitant to share him because, I'll probably get the, oh my gosh, why does he look like that, or who knows. So if I can take some decent photos of him, better than the ones I've shown to a friend of mine, maybe I will post them on Instagram and Facebook so people can at least see them that way. If you're not in any of those, I don't know how to do a slideshow thing anymore with photos. I used to do those more frequently when YouTube had the program that you could make things like that, and I don't have access to something like that now, unless I go back to my iPad, which the iPad doesn't have as good of a camera in it as my phone does, and that's what I use for videoing and everything. So I don't know, we'll see, I guess, see what happens. But we had a little bit of drama going on in our town while I was away. I wasn't away. I travel back and forth because we have the dog, and although we got a dog sitter, which is my mother-in-law, so Kix wasn't left alone. Because he doesn't like to be alone. He doesn't like to be outside. Like, go figure, a dog that doesn't want to be outside. I mean, I'm sure that exists elsewhere too, but first time I've ever had one that doesn't like to be outside. I mean, he's outside, he does his business, he comes right back to the door, and he wants in. Like, he'll scratch at the door, like, let me in, let me in, let me in. So, he does not like it outside. Probably because it's so darn hot. And in the winter, it'll be too darn cold. But anyway, I gotta put my shades on, it's getting sunny. My eyes can't stand any light, hardly anymore. Like, ever since I've gotten contacts, which has been, I don't know, 2 decades ago now, or more, I can't do sunlight. Like, my eyes are really uber sensitive to the light. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. I was leaving my house the one day to come up to the fair, And I made the corner, you know, to head down to the road. And I saw two SUVs. They had state police along the side of them. And I was like, oh wow, there's two there. Then I get to the stop sign. I look back, and there's two more at the same place. Like, they were just around the corner of this big building that used to be a store that I worked at as a kid. That's been shut down for many years now. I was like, whoa, what's going on, you know? Well, then around the corner, and this is all within the time of me driving one block. So, and our blocks in our town are really short. So when I get from one end to the other end, all of this is transpiring. So it probably sounds like it's taking a long time, but it's not. We're talking about maybe the length of a football field or something of me driving. So it's short, right? 50 yards or something, or 100 yards or whatever it is. So I'm out of touch with everything right now. I get to, and as I'm driving to the stop sign too, like a person I know from school comes around the corner, and they got two troopers with them. And so the whole time I'm racking my brain, like trying to figure out, gosh, you know, for 4 SUVs of police officers, something really had to go down, like, you know, a drug bust or something. Like, it had to have been big for that many cops to be there, I'm thinking. Or, you know, something worse, you know, murder or who knows. And so, okay, I continued on, you know, my journey towards where my destination was, which is the fair. And I get to the next town away, and there is a truck sitting along the sidewalk. And the truck is a beat up, you know, white Ford pickup truck. And the driver's side back tire is completely off the rim. The rim is like smashed down a little bit, like it's sandwiched down. It's no longer a circle. And the tire is like just hanging off this rim, which, you know, isn't round anymore. And I'm thinking, God, what the heck? What the heck happened? Because there was nothing around the truck. Nothing. Except it was sitting there. So I get to the fair and everything, and, you know, I'm nosy, so I ask people, do you guys know what's going on? You know, people know what's going on. And I finally stumble upon some folks that do know what's going on, and they said that there was a guy that visited his girlfriend in the town next to ours. Something happened to his truck, so hence that was his truck. And he went to his girlfriend's place, and he beat the living snot out of her. To the point, like, she had to go to the hospital. She had broken ribs. She had, you know, just major facial damage. I guess her face was black and blue. You know, just, my stomach's getting sick talking about this, because I'm just thinking, what in the heck? Could you imagine what was running through her head when her boyfriend, someone who's supposed to love her, is beating the living crap out of her? I was like, oh my gosh. So, but how they ended up in my town, or how this person, he fled the apartment, left her there to die, essentially. She didn't die, but they left her there to die. And he fled on foot and ended up in my town because he has a relative that lives in an apartment that's attached to this rundown store that's no longer in service. He went up to his relative's apartment, and I guess the relative was in bed or had just gotten off work. So he only saw he only saw his relative for a brief moment, and then he went to bed because, he had to get sleep for the next day of work. He must work overnights or something, because this happened during the day. And this guy disappeared. So that's why there were so many cops there. And I guess there was a helicopter too, which I missed that. But yeah, I was like, oh my word. Just this random, I don't know if he was hopped up on drugs or, drunk, or I don't know what possessed him to do such a thing. But there was rumor that the girl had died in the hospital, and oh my word, it was just like crazy. And then I ran into the friend a few days later at the fair that I saw with the cops, and I asked her, because I wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth, just to make sure that I wasn't hearing idle gossip. Because gossip has a way of, the story, just like telephone, that game of telephone, gossip has a way of things being added to it over time, the amount of times that it goes through one ear to ear kind of thing. And she confirmed everything, although she had heard the rumor that the girl had passed away, and that is not true. She did survive. But yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. And and this is like big news, because we live in a very quiet town. We live in a very it's a small town. It's quiet. It's very safe for the most part. But you do get these crazies that come through once in a while, and they do something stupid. And of course, it's big news for us because we don't normally see things like that. I know people that live in very dangerous cities or, towns with high crime rates, and we don't have that where I live. It's very, very like walk around the neighborhood in your nightgown kind of thing. You can keep your door unlocked. We don't, but I'm too psycho for that. I can't do that. But some people do. Some people don't lock their door where we live, because they just feel it's very safe. But yeah, so that was major drama that happened in our town and the town away from us. It was just unbelievable. It was one of those unbelievable things. Now, to some of you that if you live in a dangerous area, that might be like everyday news. I don't know. But for us, it's like a, headliner for us. In fact, it probably was a headliner in our local newspaper, which I don't subscribe to, but I'm sure it was in there. It might not have been the main headline unless they didn't have anything else to write about, but it was probably there. The worst things that happen for the most part around my area is car accidents. People drive like idiots because we don't have a lot of police officers enforcing the roads and the rules and everything. So people drive erratically and cause accidents. In fact, there were 2 during the fair, 2 of them, and we got involved in we got involved not witnessing the actual accident, but having to detour or wait on traffic both times when we were on our way home. So there was lots of accidents too. So anyway, you guys remember the person I filmed the one time on my way to work. So yeah, we get stuff like that too. It's like people not driving responsibly. Which I know is probably a much wider problem than here. In fact, I know it is. So anyway, yeah. My videos are so long when I'm in the car. I guess because I don't have anything else to do but talk. You don't have anything else to do but listen, right? I will try to bring a baby with me sometime. working a part-time job and full-time job and, you know, doing all that fun stuff is gonna probably reduce my ability to make videos on a regular basis, but I'm gonna try to keep up at least once a week like I was doing, so that, you know, I can check in and hopefully I'll be able to watch some of your videos. It might take me a little bit because I do need to get caught up at work, and of course I'm not at home to watch anything, which I watch all my videos while I'm at work because that's the best way for me to keep in touch with all of you, because the internet's better there, and at home it's not so much. Plus at home I have family time, so I just do it that way. I can work and watch videos at the same time. I have a desk job for the most part. So anyway, guys, it was great to touch base with all of you, and hopefully I'll be back, you know, again here soon, and I'll be visiting your channels as soon as I'm able to. So take care, have a wonderful rest of your week, and thank you so much for being a subscriber. I really appreciate that a lot. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you soon. All right.